period. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Welcome everybody, my name is Chris and this is my channel Barnon11970, which if anybody wants to know, the 11970 is my birthday and day of birth, 11/9/1970. So that's where I got that from. Alright, so this is one where I'm going to share a little bit of a meditation technique and something else I learned last night. Those who've been following me know I get these dreams and these premonitions, and I've been after many years of trial and error, learning how to meditate, and was not easy, because one of the biggest things that I always found was a problem is when you try and meditate, you think you have to be quiet, and then your mind starts wandering and you get frustrated. I highly recommend looking at as many meditation YouTube videos as you can and learn what you are able to, because my downloads of information have quadrupled since that time, only a couple of days ago, when I finally learned some of the processes. Like I said the other day, when you are starting to meditate, start doing it every day. Practice until you can get it perfect. It's going to help clear your consciousness, clear your mind. It's going to make you think better. You're going to be more calm, more at ease. I cannot stress it enough. And if you want to start getting higher vibrations, you got to start meditating. You got to let go of stuff. And I was talking about some of the things about negativity the other day and how we should look at them differently. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend watching that as well. Well, I got more information about this, so I'm going to try and, with all the information given, kind of put it into a little bit of a nutshell. So there will be a little bit of a meditation technique that I'm going to give now, so please don't be doing this while you're driving, or if you're at work, or anywhere where you need your full consciousness to be focused with whatever you're doing. But basically, to give a synopsis of what I learned last night, I want you to picture a giant circle. And in the giant circle, right in the center, was one single bit of light. Just a little circle of light, or a dot of light. That was the singularity. And then what happened is the singularity wanted to learn more about itself, so it started dividing, creating other versions of itself in order to explore the universe and create the universe as they go. So, excuse me, picture more and more of these light dots filling that giant circle. Well, what happens is, excuse me, I had something caught in my throat. What happened is, over the millennia of traveling and creating new universes, multiverses, dimensions, some of the light lost its way and became dark. Because as you start to get towards lower vibrations, after a long period of time, it can affect you and you lose your way. So think about some of those light dots in that circle all of a sudden turning dark. And over time, it got to the point where there's more and more darkness. As time goes by, people started forgetting their own true powers, because when you divide from source, you agree that you will not remember who you are. And over time, you could get stuck in karma loops and lose your way. So more and more of that circle, just picture those little dots of light turning dark, to the point where it was almost completely dark. But light can never be fully extinguished. And what happened is, some of the light over time started rebalancing, and it would kind of be like this. We are now coming out of a time where there is more darkness than light, but the light is starting to waken up. If you notice throughout the world, people, even the most sleeping of the masses, are starting to say enough is enough. And even that is creating more light. Now, as I was saying yesterday, or the day before when I made that other video, please watch it if you haven't, is that you have to look at what I call the opposite of you, which is your negative aspects, your lower vibrations. You have to look at them in a different way. Think of them as a conscious being, a conscious entity who was once source, who was once light, that lost its way. And basically is your other half. You can't get rid of your other half like you can't get rid of your shadow. If you spend your whole life trying to get rid of your shadow, you'll have achieved nothing. But this is the stuff I learned last night. Picture what I talked about with all those black circles, the dark circles, and then the light circles. And they're kind of shifting with the amount. Now, most people, even enlightened people, will tell you there's a war going on and we have to get rid of our negative emotions, or we have to suppress our negative emotions, or we have to hide from our negative emotions, or we have to banish our negative emotions. Well, if you understand or understand that even negative emotions are the same energy source and come from the same energy source, which means even something you may not think has consciousness does. A rock has consciousness, the wind has consciousness, a tree has consciousness, not just humans and animals, because everything's made of the same energy source. It just moves at different levels of speed due to vibration of the energy. Okay, so whether you understand, hopefully one day you'll get there. If you do not understand this or think it's gibberish or nonsense, you're right, you're just not at the level yet, and I hope you will achieve that someday. Infinity will allow you to do that in your own time. So this is for people who are looking to raise themselves to a higher vibration. So what I learned last night, and the kind of the meditation part that you should try and do, again, don't be doing it while you're driving or at work or anywhere you need to be responsible. But I want you to picture one of the, what you consider your negative traits. In other words, something that's strongly hurting you, like fear or anger or depression. Okay, so let's just take anger for example. Oh, let's take fear, because that one, everybody says you got to eliminate your fear. Well, if fear is consciousness and it's a part of you and it's actually protecting you so you don't have to be fearful by absorbing all that fear, or at least as much as it can, something beneficial for you, it's trying to keep you out of harm's way, it just forgot its purpose, absorbed all of that negative dark energy for thousands and thousands of millennia, and it forgotten its way. It didn't lose its light. You never lose your light, but it doesn't remember it anymore. So let's use fear for example. What I want you to do when you get the chance is to lay down or sit down in a comfortable chair. And I want you to picture, let's use fear as an example. You can use anger, depression, any emotions that hurt. Come up with an image to describe that feeling of fear, anger, whatever. What would you make it look like? In other words, turn it into a physical being. Greatest emotion, your negative emotion that you need to better in your life. Okay, let's say fear, for example. I want you to have a mental image in your head of what you think, if you could turn it into something physical, what that would end up. And I use the example of, okay, let's say the first image in your head is a dragon. So you manifest the physical nature of that energy. Okay. Now, if you try and fight it or abandon it or get rid of it, you're not changing it. So what you need to do is you first ask it, if you could be anything else other than this demon or this dragon or whatever physicality you come up with that negative trait you want to cure in your mind, you say to it, and listen to the first response. Say, if you could be anything else, what would you be? It could be an emotion like love. It could be a physical thing like flowers. Let's say whatever the first thing is, and if you don't hear anything, just pick and choose something positive. Let's say you want to turn it into a butterfly. Well, you've now taken what was a negative entity, a dark entity, a lost soul, doing demonic things because that's all it could remember, and you turned it into something positive, which, take one of those black circles that I mentioned in the beginning and turn it into light, and it will always stay light. So in other words, with you addressing it the right way and not attacking something and not trying to banish it or send it somewhere else and it becomes somebody else's problem and it never learns anything, because its job is to help you get to source. So the only way, if you want in true enlightenment, is to no longer think in the old ways of war and banishment and suppression. It is all about love. So picture yourself as that demon entity who once was an angel of light, who lost its way through the millennia of lower vibrational energy and the forgetfulness of who you were, with your job of helping people absorb fear or anger or depression or what have you, and became this lower vibrational energy of forgotten love, and became nothing but hate and anger, and all it hears is no thank yous for what you're doing, because it's keeping you from feeling those things, because it's absorbing a lot of it, and you're going to be wanting to be banished and punished, and you're at war with that. How would you think it would make you feel? But if you take it and you turn it into something like, let's say, a unicorn, well, instead of it doing the demon or the dragon or the monster things it was once doing, because that's all it remembered, you've now changed it with your own power and energy into something beneficial. So if you turned it into a unicorn, if you turned your fear into a demon and then turned that demon into a unicorn, you've now taken negative energy and turned it into positive energy. And now there is no more a demon doing demon stuff. It's now a unicorn doing unicorn stuff. In a world of infinite possibilities, everything exists. You just can't see them at different vibrational levels. So I understand, or what I say understand, many people are going to bat poop crazy. And 5 years ago, if I would have agreed. But just because you cannot see something does not mean it doesn't exist. I mean, please point out an air molecule all around you. Please point out a microwave that is all around you. You have a cell phone, right? Please show me the conversation that you're hearing my voice from in the air. It's there. You just can't sense it because you're not on the same frequency. Point out the radio waves of a radio station you were just listening to. You can't, but it's there. So for those who automatically dismiss something based on the fact that you can't see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, hear it, you're limiting your senses. And if you want to progress, you have to have a higher level. So practice this. Practice. I actually connected to my higher self for the first time. And it was beautiful. I felt it. I felt the conversation. I actually felt the embrace. Because when I finally said goodbye to it, and I pictured this beautiful woman in a long white robe glowing, and when it was leaving, I didn't want to say goodbye. I didn't want it to leave because I felt the love. And she came over to me and wrapped her arms around me, and all of a sudden wings surrounded me, and I felt nothing but light and warmth. And here's where they say talking to yourself comes from. Because I was actually, when I was having the conversation, because they said you can ask anything, and I said, is it a little weird that I'm talking to myself right now? And they said, no, because that's technically what you're doing. You're talking to your higher self. So when you hear somebody say they're talking to themselves, there's more to it than you think. Because think about that. You're talking to your higher self, but that higher self is a higher vibrational energy of you. So you're technically talking to yourself. And they were talking about how strong we are as light beings to come in a third dimensional realm. Because my higher source, and if you've ever had a connection to a higher source or watch videos about higher source, they only come to you as ethereal, like a ghost or a shadow. They're not physical because they cannot handle going this far down into the darkness. And they said to me, do you realize how strong you are? Picture Hercules trying to push back two mountains that are trying to close in on him. Now, I was told that the weight of the universe in a third dimensional realm is so compressing that your body and your energy is so strong that you're fighting the universe compressing against you, and you don't even break a sweat. You don't even think about it. You walk like it's nothing. And they said, do you know what a strong entity you have to be To be able to have a third dimensional realm where you are the furthest away from the light without breaking apart, being compressed by all that negative energy, and you're not even holding it back. Your body is just so powerful that all that compression does nothing to your body. Do you know how strong you are? So, if you really want to learn newer levels, dismissing this, calling it crazy, insulting me, and things like that will not help you. Regardless of what you believe and don't believe does not change my feelings towards everything, especially in the past month of things that have been going on in my life. My life has improved so much. You are perfect. Mistakes. You just sometimes forget your ways. And the reason for that is because whether it's God or the source or the universe or whatever you want it to be, because they loved you so much, they gave you the ability to do whatever you want. Because so many people throughout the world say, oh God, why do you do this to us? Why are you doing this to me? Why this? Why that? How come you allow this? Well, anything other than free will is slavery. And that's not love. If something has power over you to make you do something that you may not want to do or you may not be ready to do, is a form of slavery. That's not love. So understand that because the Creator, and again, whatever you want to call it is up to you, loved you so much, it gave you the ability to do everything in existence, to find out who you are, go as low as you want in the lowest of vibrations, and come back and find your way through infinity, which loves you so much that it lasts forever until you find your way back. And until we take negative energy and turn it good, we are never going to get out of the circle. And that's why I told you in the beginning, think of a circle and think of the light as dots. Each soul is just a dot of light. And some of them turned dark. And there was fluctuation with it. But it was all in a circle. So in other words, you could not escape it. Doing the same thing over and over again. And you notice even the people that 2-3 years ago had their head in the sand are now starting to question things, which means it's starting to change in the balance. So fighting negativity, if somebody was fighting you, wouldn't you want to fight back? Wouldn't you want to defend yourself? Wouldn't you be upset? Especially if it's somebody you're protecting. Just imagine if you have a teenage child and you saved it from being run over by a car, and they come along and say, I banish you. How dare you interfere with me? It's going to make you feel horrible. So you have to put yourself in the shoes, so to speak, of your opposite of your love and your courageousness and your bravery and your health. You have to think of those things, the negative things, which I call opposites, because it's a part of you. It's like your shadow. You cannot get rid of what's a part of you, but you can change it. But that depends on your free will to do so. So, I want you, when you are ready, if you are ready, when you are in a peaceful place where you can relax and lie down, or sit down and be comfortable, close your eyes. You could do it one at a time. What I did with my anger, I pictured my anger as a whole bunch of people. So I turned the energy of anger, turned it into a bunch of human beings. I gave them all hugs and said, thank you for the lessons that you taught me. I turned them to birds and told them they can fly away, and they went somewhere else. But they didn't go somewhere else as a demon or a dragon or something nasty to end up affecting someone or something else. I turned it into something beautiful. Now again, many people are going to dismiss this. Not many people are going to listen to this, and that's okay. This is not for the masses. I wish it would be for the masses, because we would change the world, and you change yourself. Because when you take a negative aspect in you that's affecting you so much that it's changing your life in a bad way and it's controlling you, and you turn it into something positive, and you thank it for the lessons it taught you, because I guarantee you, you learned more about yourself and grew more into yourself from your negative experiences in your life than any positive thing you've ever experienced. Pain is there to make sure you remember. Do you remember your 4th birthday? I bet you don't. I bet you had a good time. You probably had lots of cake, probably had lots of presents, lots of family there. You probably don't remember a lot of the events that happened. But I promise you, on your 4th birthday, if the day after you ended up, God forbid, climbing a small little hill with friends and you fell and broke your leg and shattered your spine, you'd remember it. In other words, hello, McFly, don't do that again. People see pain in the wrong way. They see fear in the wrong way. Because of free will, you can see it any way you want. But remember, not all fear is bad. Ever been on a roller coaster? Roller coasters are fun, but yet you can get scared. It's the exhilaration. What about surprises? Not every surprise is bad. Did you ever have a surprise party? Did you ever have a present that you didn't know what was inside? So think about that. You didn't know what was inside that present, but not once were you ever scared. Oh my God, this could be a bomb, or this could be a monster, or this could be a pile of dog poop. No, you're excited. Turn your negative, or your opposite of what is half of you, into something loving and full of light. And the way to do that is you have to change the energy by yourself. Use your positive power, your energy, to turn anything dark and what you consider evil, turn it into good. You'd be amazed at how much better you'll start to feel. And you'll never see it the same. You'll never see fear the same way, because you will understand that your fear protects you. But sometimes it does too good of a job and wants to protect you from everything. You'll never grow if you spend your whole life in a cocoon with somebody else saying, oh, I will protect you. You will never experience life. Because sometimes to learn what to do, you have to learn what not to do. And you can't do it by reading books. You have to do it through your own experience. You could read every book there is about war and know everything there is to know about war, but you'll never know what it's like to be in one. So if you want to change your life for the better, I would highly recommend paying attention to some of these things. But again, free will means you can ignore this, you could never hear it, you can insult it, you can attack me for it. All that's doing is hurting yourself, and it doesn't change what it's done for me. I share it to you openly because that's what love should be. Open source, free for everyone. Picture yourself talking to your higher self. Image that. Feel a cord of light connect from your higher source to yourself. I want you to picture when you get the chance, to picture the most beautiful entity that you can think of, whether it's male or female, that's up to you. Coming down from a dot of light to a room that you're sitting in. And you get attached to each other by a cord of light. That higher source is you. So technically, you're talking to yourself. You got to understand your inner to know the purpose of them and the meaning behind them. If you want to be negative, you will always have negative. You will never cure it. You will repeat the same process over and 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 over again, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It's a circle. Square the circle. In other words, make the impossible possible. It's by doing something different. It is not pushing away your negative thoughts and your negative feelings. It is not trying to destroy your negative thoughts and negative feelings, because it keeps them negative and it makes them worse. And since their job is to protect you, they haven't completed their job. But once you thank them and send them on their way and turn them into something beautiful as a thank you gift, a parting gift, There's no need for them to be in your life anymore. And here's the funny part. They even said, and it's the first time this ever happened, whether it was in my own mind or not, doesn't matter. It doesn't change the beauty I felt. My higher self, when I talked to her for the first time, said, you can even talk with the dead. And as soon as they said that, I saw my father's face, and I heard his voice for the first time since he died, and all I heard was, hi, son. And I felt it. And I felt the love, and I saw his face. And then the next thing I could think of was my cat Oregon, who passed away. And all of a sudden, I heard not just a generic meow, but I heard a meow he always did, and that was like he tried to say hello. He would go, hello? And I heard that, and I saw him. And I was so filled with love. I don't care if it was fake. I don't care if it was all in my mind. It made me feel good. This world is making us feel bad, or trying to make us feel bad. But remember, with free will, it's your choice to feel that if you want. Any path you take, you can always take another path. If you think you're stuck, it's because you're too afraid to move forward or find another way. You have to ask yourself, what do you have to learn to be able to move forward? And I think some of the advice I gave in this video might just help some of you. If it only helps one, that's one less negative entity in the world, which creates a better balance towards light. So to me, it's not the amount of people it helps, it's the fact that it may help one, and they may help one, and they may help 1,000, and they may help 1,000,000. Next thing you know, we're in a better place. So hopefully it didn't get too messed up when it paused before. I'm sorry if I had to repeat some of this stuff. Take your negatives and turn them into positives. It's the whole, when you get lemons, make lemonade. It's the same thing with the negative aspects of your life that are holding you back. They're trying to teach you something and you're not listening to them. Thank them for what they've done. Then give them the gift of beauty. Turn their negativity back into light from which they came and send them away. But not banish. In other words, be a bird, fly. And now that demon will no longer do demon stuff. That dragon will no longer do dragon stuff. That monster will no longer do monster stuff. It will now be a butterfly, or a unicorn, or a bird, or a fish, or a flower, or love. And do those things. You want to get in good with the Creator. Help turn some darkness into light, instead of trying to destroy the darkness. Because how are you any better than the darkness if you are using your energy and your power to try and destroy something that was created by the same entity that created you? It's time to think a different way if you want to reach the next level. I'm starting to get there. Not many people are going to understand this. Many people are going to mock it and ignore it. But again, that doesn't change what it's doing for me. If it does something good for you, amazing. If not, thank you for at least taking the time to listen. Give it a thumbs up if you appreciate it. Share it if you want others to know about it. Let me know in the comments section if you do try and practice what I recommended, how it made you feel. I bet you feel a lot more lighter, a lot less dense. Much love to everybody. I've been waiting online for gas now for the past half hour, and probably have to go. But at least I spent the time productively talking to you all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.